Hi, I'm Kalin. I founded an 8-figure startup without burnout or much sacrifice. If I have to credit one single thing to my financial, professional success, which came with happiness and general well-being, it will be one word: intuition. In this video, I'll show you everything I know about intuition, about what it is not, how do we train it, how do we use it, how do we trust it, where do we find the data points to build it. Every single thing about intuition in one video. Stay till the end, it's worth it. Here are my favorite 2 quotes about intuition. Louis Smith said, "Your intuition knows what to do. The trick is getting your head to shut up so you can hear." And Albert Einstein said, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift." Sounds kind of sad. We have this popular notion that success in life requires depth. And indeed, in fields such as science, engineering and technology, significant depth is very much needed. We train our brains in logic and abstract thought by our very dysfunctional education system in order to support depth. But in doing so, we forget that the defining characteristic of the modern world is actually its unimaginable width. The amount of possible choices, jobs, business ideas, and ways to make the world better or worse is almost beyond the capability of the human brain. This is the keyword, it's almost beyond. The brain has 2 separate decision mechanisms working at all times. There's logic, based mostly in the left brain hemisphere. It's very good at that, very good at narrow-minded things where you have a process, you need a result, it's easy to explain and to do, and it's easy to improve incrementally. And then you have intuition, which is mostly based in the right brain hemisphere, which is very good at width, at awareness of general understanding. To simplify, logic only handles boxes, things you can define. Intuition can handle boxes, but also handles flows, which are things that we cannot easily define, like our place in the world or things that are too complex, too wide for logic. Logic is about the exact, intuition is about the fluid, but only at first. The problem with logic is that it's a very local tool. Evolved at first in order to find, catch, and eat food, has a narrow direction, and when focused in it, all width is instantly lost. Intuition is a global tool. Instantly sounds better and more powerful, because it is. It's critical to know that logic and intuition are not 2 sides of the same coin, because logic is evolutionary new and developed, very prone to errors, which are called fallacies, and intuition is evolutionary old, developed over 100 million years of evolution into an almost perfect decision-making tool. Comparing the 2 in evolutionary terms is like comparing a baby's science skills to those of an university professor. It's actually not comparable. While logic can be accumulated and systematized by the whole of humanity for the great benefit of everyone, intuition is a private, individual tool. But make no mistake, even though we have this trade-off, intuition is in you and it's insanely powerful, if only you can develop and trust it. The most important pieces of the puzzle of intuition is how to learn to trust it and what is the connection between our ancient intuition, which we have even biologically, and the width of the modern world. Intuition emerges from the buildup of experience over our biological, intellectual basis. The key difference between logic and intuition is that with logic you have to understand and be able to explain the workings of the system to get a correct answer. With intuition you may not be able to explain or even provide any reasoning. You have the answer. It's a shortcut, and you know, nature loves shortcuts. Intuition is strongest when facing binary choices, like, is my gut feeling good or bad about this option, about this person? Does this causal relationship run one way or both ways? Is this quantity when cooking too little, too much? However, on some level, life is made of binary choices. As we know from computer science, everything can be represented by a big collection of zeros and ones. If we see and feel the value of width compared to depth, intuition improves and eventually develops comparison hacks that can compare not 2, not 10, not hundreds, but millions of options without even considering them one by one. It's using the full parallelism of the brain, and it has a truly astonishing power. Intuition at its best feels like a quantum computer. If you don't know, a quantum computer does not have to check every option in order to return an answer. If it has to, for example, decrypt a password, it can try all of the possible passwords simultaneously, not sequentially one after another, which is because of the strange ways the universe works in the quantum field, in the field of the very small. So when I learned how a quantum computer works, I was like, this feels like intuition. Intuition is kind of parallel to, of course, it has nothing to do with the quantum world, but just feels the same way. It has the same structure. Somehow exploring options simultaneously is the key thing about intuition. It just seems magical how it can consistently suggest great solutions without you knowing how it got to them. So some operations did happen in the background, but you have no idea. You just have, boom, great idea. Of course, magic or quantum effects is not how this works. Nothing mystical is required to explain intuition. It's just nature at its best decision-making efficiency. Given the huge width of our choices and the potential outcomes, it's useful to explore how computers tackle similar choices while playing games such as chess, where the width quickly scales to billions of variations of our moves and the response from the opponent and potential outcomes to compare. So computers basically use a mix of micro calculations, different variations, then they compare the results, but it's very critical and improves efficiency by orders of magnitude that they optimize the resources used by using smart hacks such as alpha-beta pruning. In other words, even computers, when they do the very logical task of playing chess well, they try to be as parallel as possible. They use shortcuts, just like I believe intuition does. Therefore, got to the conclusion that it would be interesting to compare our brain in its intuitive attempts to a computer and see how they both fare in different situations. And this brings some interesting conclusions about the power of intuition compared to the power of logic.